So I just got off of recording a podcast with a friend that'll be coming out here soon, and I'm sure we'll be sharing it all of the places. And we talked about some of those taboo subjects that we are not supposed to talk about: politics, religion, workplace, ego. Actually, we sent out a newsletter last week titled "Houston, We Have an Ego Problem." And the whole emphasis of this conversation, I know for many of us, we keep our politics out of our workplace, which I mean, I think we could all agree, like, it's probably the best thing that we're not creating this divisiveness in there. Yet we're experiencing it. We see it everywhere. We see this kind of tug of war that's happening. We see the finger pointing and blame. We see it's the right versus left, and we all have our very strong opinions. And guess what? There's some of you watching that I strongly agree with, and some of you that I probably strongly disagree with. And here's what I shared in this conversation. Consciousness, in order for us to really be conscious beings, being conscious not only changes our own experience, but it changes the experience of the world around us. And part of being conscious is being aware of what happens and what is triggered within me when I experience anything outside of me. Just like, oh, did that make me mad? That made me frustrated, etc. What do I want to do with that? Why did that make me mad? What am I believing is true about me, right? Being a bit more self-reflective. But what we talked about on this podcast was the importance of shifting the experience by bringing what is missing. And I've had the fortune of, my team and I were counting up, and I think 20 some cities, 50 some airports, I don't know, we added up all the places that we've been able to teach conscious habit this year. And we teach this about how to operate this in the workplace, but this is so relevant in the world around us. We cannot solve problems from the same energy that created it. So if I hate your hate, what am I making more of? Exactly. And the thing is, I might feel righteous in my hatred for your hate because mine feels like the right way, right? But mine feels like the right solution. And yet we're still making more of the same thing. And in order for us to be conscious within ourselves, in our homes, in our communities, at our workplaces, we say we want the world to be conscious everywhere, at work, at home, and the world at large. In order for that to be true, it takes the individual contribution of each person to do so, to rise above. Because if I meet you at the same level, I don't have a very good view of what's happening around there. I can't see things very clearly. But if I rise above, I can begin to see things from a different lens. So if I recognize your hate, but I rise above, what does rising above hate look like? Curiosity, compassion. It's not about creating agreement. And I think that's what we're all falsely fighting for, is agreement. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. But it's really moving to a place of acceptance. I can accept you're a human. I can accept you have these desires, even though I may feel they're misguided. I can accept that you want these things. And how can I operate from a more loving place? What would love do in this moment? How can I show up more loving? Because that is what's missing. And ultimately, that's what I'm wishing you would bring. I'm wishing you would bring compassion. I'm wishing you would bring understanding. Wishing you would bring, openness and curiosity, but you're not. Therefore, I must. Only that which I'm not giving can be missing from any situation. So we can plug in all the places, where we experience this. Any place that seems to be divisive, mud is thrown, fingers are pointed, and we can get a lesson that allows us to become even more conscious at home, at work, and in the world at large. And when we do this, when each person does this, not waits for the other person, not says, I hope somebody else is listening to this, but when each person does this, we can create radical change, because love is not in action. Love does not equal, we just love each other and there's just complacency. No, love equals a better view of the solution. That is what I'm holding myself accountable to. That is what I hope any person who listens to this does for within themselves and alchemizes it. And if you feel called to share it with someone that you want to help spread the message, great. But my encouragement is us first. Us first.